Do you want to get rid of the beliefs that are holding you back and limit your growth? And to create positive and supportive beliefs and keep them once and forever? Then you clicked on the right video. Today I'm not just sharing some philosophical or theoretical ideas. This is really a practical guide on how to shift your perspective to be really more successful in your life. So let's dive directly into the topic. And let me do that by sharing with you my personal story of how I overcame one of my limiting beliefs. So my name is Ingo and I was working for more than 15 years. I was working quite successfully in a job, but on the other hand, it was also not a job that really fulfilled me or that really made me happy. For many years I thought, what can I do differently? So when I thought about quitting my job or starting my own business, I always thought, no, I cannot quit my job because I need the paycheck at the end of the month. Because if I don't have the paycheck and if I don't have the money, I cannot feed the kids and I cannot pay the mortgage and I cannot do all the things I did before. And that was what was keeping me in the job, and I became more and more miserable. But I changed that, and it took some years for me. But today I will show you how we can change basically any limiting belief into a positive one. And I want you to be able to change it more quickly and don't wait for that so long like I did. So I will show you a method how you can shift your perspective to something more positive and how you can reach to your decisions much more quickly. So let me start with a brief introduction on what are beliefs and what is our belief system, right? So a belief is basically created by the thoughts and by the experiences that we repeatedly have and by the stories we repeatedly tell to ourselves. And that's why we should also be very careful about what is entering our mind, our brain, right? Because the more often we hear a story, the more often we tell ourselves something, or that we have a certain thought, or that we make a certain experience, the more it manifests in our belief system and it becomes our reality, right? And the longer we maintain that, the harder it is to change. So usually most of our core beliefs are formed in our early childhood. We build them when we make our early experiences, when we're sitting at the dining table with our parents and we hear the stories they tell us. And most of our beliefs are formed in the first 6 to 10 years of our life. And if we don't work actively on them, they will actually never change and they just be there as our subconscious core belief system. And the longer we wait, the harder it will be to change because they become more and more our reality. And if we carry them around for 20, 30, 40 or whatever years, so of course it's very hard to change them to something else, but it is possible. And the next thing is that the actions we take or the decisions we make are a function of our belief system. So we act according to our beliefs. Our beliefs give us the foundation and the basis for our decisions. And that's why, for example, it also feels very awkward if we don't act according to our belief system, because then maybe because it's usually our beliefs are in our unconscious mind and they're not easily accessible, maybe we're not even aware of, but something will feel strange. So if we're not acting to our beliefs, if we do something that is not aligned with our core beliefs, there feels something off and we usually don't feel comfortable with. Now the main question is, of course, how we can access our belief system, how we can understand what our beliefs are, and what are the ones that are limiting us, what are the ones that we use to sabotage ourselves or sabotage our process, and how can we then actually change them. And that's what we will learn today. So stay tuned and let's start with our belief reframing process. The first step with which you have to start is the belief identification. Basically, there are 3 different types of beliefs. There are beliefs about the world, there are beliefs about other people, and there are beliefs about ourselves. So a belief about the world can be something very general, right? If I believe whatever, money is the root of all evil, or if I believe that we need to work hard for money. That is a general belief about the world, right? The second is beliefs about other people. If I believe, for example, my boss is not treating me fair or they're not giving me respect, that would be a belief about other people. The third kind of beliefs are beliefs about ourselves. This can be something like, I am not good with money, or I'm not made to have my own business, or I'm not good in relationships. And usually the beliefs about ourselves are the most difficult to change, right? Because a belief about the world, I mean, we can collect some evidence and we can change it easily. But a belief about ourselves, this is basically reflecting our identity. And even if we become aware that such a belief is not supporting us, it's very difficult to change it because our subconscious mind doesn't like change, and it will do everything to protect us from changing this belief, because changing this belief would mean to change our identity. But we'll learn anyway how this can be done. And the method can be applied to all three of them. For some it might need a little bit more work, but it's a general method that is applicable for everything. So what I want you to do now is to think about an area in your life. It can be your relationships, or your success, or your career, or whatever you think you need improvement on. And I want you to think for a few minutes about that and write down a few beliefs you have in this area. That could be, if we stay with the example of money, that could be, I am not good with money, or money is not coming to me easily, or I have to work hard for money. But don't take these examples that I'm telling you. Take your own examples, take your own beliefs that you have, and write them down on a piece of paper and reflect on them. So if we're coming back to my story, I had the belief that I cannot quit my job because I would lose all the money. I would end up on the street, right? That was my limiting belief. I thought I need to have this job and I have to stay there. I had flexibility within my job, but I thought I cannot get out of this job because was the foundation of my life. So now the next step, and this is something that most coaches will not teach you because this is a little bit more difficult, but I think it's the most important. Now think about one of these beliefs that really is sabotaging yourself, and try to remember, where does this belief originate from? What is the source of this belief? And therefore you should go back into your childhood even, in all the experiences you made, and try to think about, ideally, the first time that you had this belief, or at least some situations that you can remember that were really supporting this belief and where you think this belief is coming from. And try to get this memory as detailed as possible. So what happened there in this memory? Do you see colors? Do you see certain people? Is this just like an image that you see, or is it like a movie in front of your eyes that's running? And what's happening there? Try to catch that as good as possible. And again, this is a very important step, because if you don't find the source of your belief, it will be very hard to change them. Because if you just work on the surface and if you don't go down into the origin, then you actually cannot eliminate the root, and therefore it will be almost impossible to change the belief. So do that now, and once you're done with that, once you have this very detailed memory, now we're trying to erase that belief or to reframe that to something more positive. The next thing you should do is to identify the cost of holding onto this belief for you and your family. So what's the price you're paying that you're holding onto this belief? Where could you be without this belief? What's your opportunity cost? And be careful here, because usually we have an emotional attachment to our beliefs, and our subconscious mind tries to protect our belief system. Because I mentioned it already, it doesn't like to change. And now when you're done with that, write this down also. Write down 3 to 5 points, what this belief costs you and what you could achieve or where you could be without having this belief. And try to make that as painful as possible, because the higher the pain is, the higher the price you're paying, the more likely is it that you can change it from there. Now great, congratulations, you made it until here. And I think that's very important, because these first 2 steps are essential, and this is what we call the deep internal work in transformational coaching. This is the steps that most people are not willing to do, but these are the ones that are the most profound. Finding out where is our identity or our beliefs coming from and how we can change them to something better. But you're here now, and now we have the opportunity to reframe your belief. So let's do that now. So what I want you to do next is, if you take your story, think about it, and decide on an alternative and more positive story that will serve you better with respect to the topic you chose. Instead of saying, I'm not good with money, you could say, for example, money is just a tool. And I have a lot of skills, I have a lot of talents that I can use, and I don't need to focus on the money. I can just focus on my skills, and the money will come by itself. Because if we're doing great stuff, so usually the money will follow after that. Again, this is just an example. Don't use my examples. Try to come up with your own examples. They will be much more powerful. And once you found something, it should be like 2 or 3 different versions of a story that serves you better. Now I want you to look for examples that help you and that also confirms your story. And I promise you, if you look from another angle on that, you will find many examples about other people, about yourself, from your past, from your experience. You will find stories that support your new belief. So look for the stories, look for these experiences, and search for the evidence that is proving your story, proving your new belief, and ideally write them also down. And now we're coming to the last part of our exercise. And so far, our exercise and our tasks were very focused and isolated, right? But now it's about to manifest and maintain our belief for the future, our new positive belief. And it's very important from here on to remember yourself frequently about your new belief and to embody this belief. And you can imagine, if you had your old belief for many years or even decades of your life, you cannot change this in just one day. That would be an illusion, right? But you have your new belief and you have the evidence that it's right. So go out and remember yourself as often as possible about this new belief. And to do that, it usually starts with awareness. Try to become aware of yourself. When you're falling back into this old belief, remind yourself and just notice that. And there's nothing bad with that, right? It's just your belief, and that's completely okay. It's your reality. But notice that, and then shift your thoughts and shift your imagination to this positive belief, and do this as often as possible. And I promise you, if you consistently do that, you will change that belief. So the goal here is not to be perfect from day one and to live now once and forever with your new belief. That will not work, right? But the goal here is really to have this awareness that you have this new belief, and sometimes you're falling back into your old belief. But if you catch yourself then and become aware of that, and I promise you, with practice, you will become more and more aware of your new belief, then you will make progress. And that's what it is about here. It's about the progress. It's not about the outcome. Celebrate it whenever you have this awareness, and this will improve your life significantly. I also want to share with you one method how you can embody and manifest this belief more easily. And I like to do this with affirmation. And affirmation is something powerful because we talked about it at the beginning. A story or a thought that we repeatedly have become our belief. And affirmation is exactly that, but you do it intentionally. So if you go to affirmation and do this on a daily basis, these thoughts and these stories you continue to tell yourself will become part of your belief system, and they will become your reality. So don't underestimate this. This is a very powerful resource and technique, and I definitely recommend you to do that. And I show you now a method how you can do this very quickly and easily, and it takes not more than 2 minutes per day. And the method is like this. You take now 2 of your new beliefs, of your positive beliefs that you want to use to go on with now. And for each of these beliefs, you also write down a goal that you want that this belief will help you to achieve, right? And I give you an example now. It can be something like, I'm successful and I can learn anything I need. And the goal for that would be, this will help me to run my own successful business. So what I want you to do is take the sentence or your sentence for 2 of your main beliefs associated with your main goals and write them down every morning 3 times. Don't write them down on the computer or on your cell phone. Take a pen and a paper, write them down and do this every day. And again, it takes not more than 2 minutes, but if you do it for a few weeks or even months, you will see how powerful that can be. Great. Now you have a method where you actually can remove and replace negative beliefs and overcome your limiting beliefs. And I hope that helps you. Now, what can happen if you fall back into your own old beliefs? Because that will definitely happen, but don't be afraid of that. It's completely normal and part of the process. So again, what happens if you're falling back is just become aware of that and just notice that, and from there you can start to change and move on. Another important thing is just repeat to remember yourself about your new beliefs, do your affirmations, and stay consistent in your process. And also don't get frustrated. Again, our beliefs we carry them around since we are children. We cannot change them in one day, but we definitely can change them, and we can work on that, and we should change them because we want to make our lives better. Remember also, transformation is a journey. It's not about reaching some goal somewhere at the horizon, and once you get there, you're done and live a happy life forever. Transformation is a continuous journey, and the more you progress, the more you transform into something new and better, the more also your goals change. And forget about reaching your goals. Just stay consistent on your journey, stay present, enjoy the moment, and enjoy your journey. So now I'm curious if that works for you. Let us know below if you could apply this method and if you found that helpful. Or if you don't want to do that alone, share that also. I plan to do a live coaching demonstration of this process in one of the next videos. So if you have a belief that you're not able to change, comment it below and you have the chance to win a free coaching session here in one of the next videos. And this can really transform your life, because if you're working on your beliefs with somebody else, with a coach, this is even more powerful, because together we could go into even deeper beliefs and we can tackle them at the root and transform them. And this will be a total another experience. So I hope that was helpful. Have a good one and see you in the next video. Thanks and goodbye.